of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. And I say, the beginning of wisdom starts at the home. Now we can get to verse 8. My son, hear the instruction of your father. Let's pause there. The father, in general, is out of the house most of the time. While the father plays a role in the raising of a child. Because of standards of work, the father, in general, hears about what happened with the child after a long day of work. And then the instruction happens. Sometimes physically, sometimes verbally. But the instruction happens. But that instruction comes from a breaking of the law. The law that is laid down by whom, you might say? By the mother. The mother says, I want you to wash the dishes. The father is not around. He is at work. Or the father is tired and is playing video games. I understand. I understand your plight, fathers. It's not our day. So the mother says, I want you to wash the dishes. That is now the law. The child decides to break the law. And the father instructs at that point that the breaking of the law that was laid down by the mother is not a good thing to do. The law first begins in the home, much like the knowledge of God. Therefore, the standard of following the law begins at home. We see so many those that are, here it comes, lawless. Because, we'll take a pause for a second. I used to teach fourth grade. Now I teach older fourth graders. And you would always see the lawless child. And you would say, what's going on with that kid? When I first started teaching, the senior teachers would come and say, just wait till parent conference. Wild flower, wild seed. Parent conference rolls around, and you say, right after that conference, oh, I understand now how to deal with you. You don't respect laws at home, so why should you respect my laws here? You don't respect your laws when your mom calls and says, you should, when a teacher calls and says, I'm going to put you on the phone with your mother, and the kid says, so? Picks up the phone and says, woman, what do you want? And then hangs up the phone. You don't respect your laws at home, so why should you respect your laws at school? You don't respect your laws at school, so when you grow up, why should you respect the laws of the land? So when you grow up, you say, I don't respect the laws of the land. I'm going to do what I want to do. And then you find out really quickly that those laws, they're for you. And there's also a prison for you. If you don't respect those laws, then why would you respect the laws of that which you don't even see? You don't respect the laws of man. Why should you respect the laws of God? And that's why we see lawless people running around, burning, looting, robbing, stealing. You know, I heard they're closing Walmarts. Why would they do that? The people say When you interview them, Walmart is closing and it's always full of people. Then you ask Walmart and they say, we're losing money. They say that's impossible. Well, it's not impossible. How is it that a Walmart could be losing money and yet be full of people? Well, it's very simple, you see. In the front of Walmart, they put a person that makes sure that you have bought that. They don't do that for no reason. If you don't respect the laws that says do not steal of man, why would you respect the laws that say do not steal of God? These things start at home. They start with correcting and instructing. But if there's nothing to correct and instruct, if there's no foundation of law that has been laid out, then it's going to be very difficult. That's why, as soon as I understand and see the parent, I say, now I know how to teach you. I will teach you that no matter what laws you don't follow at home, there's a new set of laws here. And there's a new sheriff in town. The law begins with the mother. She says, you will clean your room. And then you clean your room. She says, you will not lie to me. And then you will not lie. These are a reflection and an image of the laws put forth by God. That's why it says, respect thy mother and thy father. Why? Because for a child, they are the reflection of God in their lives. That puts a heavy burden on a parent, though. Because what type of reflection are you? They always say, do as I say, not what I do, but that's just not going to happen. If I see my mother going to church, I will drag myself to church. If I hear my mother tell me go to church, but on Sunday morning is sitting at the couch, I will sit at the couch. These are the things that are a way as a burden upon a mother, which is why most mother sermons say, blessed is the mother. Blessed is the feet of the mother. How beautiful is it to have a mother that is actually willing to be a lawgiver. Now, children, all children, truly do not like it. I do not know of a child to this day that is enjoying when the law is laid down upon them and when instruction is given. I myself was a wild child. I know it's hard to believe now. Someone said, okay. But my mom will be listening. Say to her as she's listening, wild seed, wild flower. There are mothers, grandmothers, and great grandmothers. You get to see the product of your hard work, but not always in its completion. Sometimes the foundation that is laid, the person may stray, but because the foundation was laid strong, they will stray right back, much like the prodigal son. When they come to themselves and realize at that moment, my mother didn't raise me this way. That's why it says, my son, hear the instruction of your father, and do not forsake the law of your mother. If you can do these things, then you will not be, as what it says in verse 7, a fool that despises the wisdom of their parents. A fool that rejects that which their parents tried to give them, and instead will toil and work hard to live up to that which the parents have given them. And in that, if they can do that, then it will be a graceful ornament, a shining beacon that all that see will say in those children, look at the care that the mother and the father gave to them. Look at the great things. We all stand before you, before people. We are all just the seeds that have been watered by mothers and fathers, maybe not by biological mothers and fathers. Maybe not biological mothers and fathers, but mothers and fathers that have been placed in our lives to be the reflection of God in our lives, to lay down instruction and law. Some of us did not have biological fathers and mothers. But you can point to people that were placed in your life to say, that man, that woman acted as a mother or a father. Some of you can point to the many children that you've had. Not biologically, but spiritually. There was a man that was my father. His name was Dr. Willard. I met him in college. I was with him for 5 years. I would not be this man that I am today if it was not for that father. He may not have given birth to me, but he gave birth to a grown man at 18 that thought he was a man, but found out he was just a tall fourth grader. And if we can do that, then it will be like chains. Even today, if you see a man or a woman wearing real, I have to say real because, real golden chains and diamonds, it's a show of what? Wealth and power. So they're saying, you will be a shining beacon and you will have wealth. What wealth? Financially, right? I'm saying all of you will be rich. No. I will suggest to you that wealth does not generally in any way come in the form of finances, but rather it comes in seeing your children do well. In being able to get up in the morning and have the use of your limbs. Not waking up in a hospital bed. These are things you can't put a price on. Having a house that you can live in. Having food to eat. Maybe I don't have all the riches of the world, but being able to say I have, here it comes, enough. That is wealth. You can keep all the riches of the world. All of them. The diamonds, the gold. But I would rather just grow up in a house of love. If I could have a house of love, then I'm good with everything else. You'll walk into some of the poorest neighborhoods with the poorest people. and you'll see the happiest children. How could you be happy with nothing? How could you be happy with nothing? Because they have the one thing that they need: love. That's enough. You talk to people that have succeeded, you say, what is it? You were poor. You were hungry. You grew up in a tenement house. You grew up in a trailer home. You grew up in nothing. How is it that you can be happy now as an adult? Then they say, I didn't even know I was poor. I didn't even know I was poor because I had what? Love. In this time, we must remember our mothers, both the biological mothers and the non-biological mothers that God has put in our life. And we thank God that they, even though we did not think them at the time, laid down the law for us, such that we may know and understand the love in the law of man as a reflection of the love in the law of God. And in that, happy Mother's Day. Have a good one.